Yeah, we got to bring up. I know we had it on the docket talking about big Matt Rempe.
Yeah.
In New York, but that Tilly on Saturday,
Pretty good
Nick
tilt.
Delorier.
Yes.
What an epic tilt! First of all, I
You
mean,
talk about that. That's old school. That's going toe to toe.
oh
Both
yeah,
guys. We'll get into that in a few minutes, like you said. But yeah, great tilt. Building was pretty fired up. I mean, not
yeah,
many people sitting down when fights happen anyway. But when it's like that, man, it's entertaining.
yeah. When's the last time you seen a fight like that?
Well, the next day I saw another
Well,
one.
yeah,
But
right.
like I said, we'll
Yeah,
get into that. But you're right. They don't seem to happen as much anymore like that, and for good reason.
yeah. I
Getting
know.
punched in the face, you can attest to that. You used to go toe to toe like that. Yeah, hell of
Yeah.
a pretty good atmosphere there. It's a lot of Ranger fans, but it's
Yeah.
always that way. But this guy's fight card's not bad for his first,
Jeez.
6 games. Obviously we talked about the Matt Martin, and then we just kind of spoke about D'Lo, his fight with Nick Delorier on Saturday. Then he turns around and then Columbus and fights Olivier.
Yeah,
And, I mean, I hate to, he got his ass kicked. He got punched in the
He got
face a
tagged,
lot. He
yeah.
got tagged, but that kid stood in there and threw him and took those punches and landed some. But, man, you talk about your first week and a half in the league.
it's busy.
Busy.
Yeah.
And as I was watching the fights, I watched them all a bunch of times. I wanted to ask you about this because, like, he's 6'8", and he's just going toe to toe, and he's taking the punches. He's tough, obviously, because you get punched in the face like that, especially Olivier. The Olivier fight was where he got tagged about 7-8 good ones.
Yep.
Don't you think maybe like someone steps in to try to help him with that reach? I know you talked a little bit about the boogeyman back in the day, God rest his soul, but what are your thoughts on that with his height?
Yeah, I mean, to what you're saying, I think a guy that big has to use his reach a little more, right? I mean, that's one of his biggest advantages is his reach. So I think he's getting caught up into fighting other guys' fights a little bit. Love the the energy and the fearlessness and all that he's bringing. But I think if he's gonna be able to sustain this run and not get hit as much for a guy that size, you should definitely be using that reach and
Right.
getting guys strung out and fighting that fight. Because again, I mean, it's one thing to get hit a lot early on, and say in your pro career, but then it's gonna wear on you.
Right,
If you're getting
right.
tagged that much, I know,
Yeah,
it wears on you. But I was the guy trying to get inside a guy like that, right, and make him fight my fight, and I think his job should be to get me the hell out and string me out, and
Right.
and try and pop me with bombs, but.
Man.
But nonetheless, love his enthusiasm and his relentlessness. And, again, 4 fights in 6 games. He's doing exactly what he needs to do to get noticed. I mean, there's been a ripple across the NHL. I mean, I think that
Yes,
fight
for
against
sure.
Delorier was shown on every national,
Yeah.
not even just sports network, but every news station across
Yeah.
the U.S. and Canada probably, because you
for
don't
sure.
see that anymore. I think it's re-energized the physical part of hockey to some degree, right? There's still room for a guy like that. I mean, he obviously skates well enough, and the Rangers are a pretty solid team for them to call him up and give him an honest chance like that.
Right.
He must be doing something right in the minors, but I think he just needs to get more reps. I mean, he's got a lot of reps in early here, but I don't think he fought a ton in the minors, and I don't think he's fought a ton in his career. Honestly,
Right.
I mean, he's probably such a big guy. Who the hell wants to fight him? But I think as he gets more reps, and probably find that coach or someone to just kind of help him understand that a little more,
Right.
he could be really dangerous. Because again, you mentioned Bugard. Like when I played junior hockey against Derek Bugard, the guy was 6'8". I think he's probably floating around 230, 240 at that time.
Right.
He didn't know how to use his size yet. He was still a gamer and still fighting everybody. It wasn't until he turned pro and started to learn how to be dangerous and use his reach and string guys out that he became the boogeyman.
Yeah.
So I think this guy's a better player,
Right.
and he's equally as hungry.
Right.
So if he just learned that technique to be even more, feared,
Yeah. Oh, I know.
he might
It's
float
crazy.
around for the next 10 years and collect some decent cake.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely. It's funny because after that fight with Martin, well, D'Lo talked to him at the center ice. Baller may have posted that. He's leaned over talking to him respectfully.
Yeah.
Hey kid, let's go. And then Olivier the next time. Like he's opening guys' eyes now. They're going into Toronto Saturday. That'll be very interesting to see if Reeves is in the lineup and if, hopefully Rempe is. Because, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I hope they are, and I hope they go because I would love to see it. I
think if they put Rempe in, Maple Leafs have to put Reeves in. It would be foolish if they didn't.
They have to. And along with the fights, too, Rempe's playing physical. He got tossed out of a game in New Jersey last week, and it was a clean hit. In the league, there's zero discipline, and I was kind of shocked. Yes, it's a headshot, but it's not a targeted headshot. I feel like Baston put himself in that position for one, and kid's 6'8".
6'8", yeah. What do you expect? I mean,
you're gonna say, well, you're 6'8", you're not allowed to hit people.
Well, that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, and our good buddy Jay Rosehill, I saw a little clip of him yesterday. I was dying, him talking about that whole thing.
He ripped on Bastion a little bit.
And he was fine. He laid her on the ice.
He's embellishing it a little bit,
and then Trouba crushed him right after that. But we may have even talked about that last week a little bit. But anyway, kind of looking forward to tomorrow night and seeing if him and Reeves get to go. Now, does Lavi as a coach say, hey, don't worry about that, like just play? Because I know Lavi likes tough guys.
Yeah, no, he does. I mean, I think going to Toronto, what's he going to say? Don't fight him? I mean, that's
exactly.
like, it's one of those things. Like, he knows what Matt's trying to do, right? He's trying to make a name for himself and get them some street credit early. How could he not think about going into Toronto and fighting Ryan Reeves, right?
Sure,
I mean, it's like, I'm sure anybody that has any bit of understanding of the fighters left in the league is looking at that Saturday night game and
100%
circle it on their calendars, expecting the heavyweight bout of the year, But we'll see.
I remember you in the summer when you used to spar and do all that shit, the karate and you were like,
Greco-Roman wrestling.
I'm gonna
dirty boxing.
I'm gonna be smarter when I'm fighting. You're telling me, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So your first Tilly, toe to toe, swinging, fucking balls of wall. I remember after, I'm like, I thought you were gonna try to protect yourself. Nah, I just had to get in there.
No, I was just tucking my chin a little more. Just tucking the chin a little more.
We're just
That's about it.
Bombs.
This is about as smart as I got fighting.
Yeah, but it worked. It's just funny, but kind of talking about.
I wish I'd have been smarter, but maybe my next life.
Yeah, maybe if you get into Tilly and men's league, you'll do.
Yeah, I'll be nice and strategic with my
string guys out. You got long arms anyway.
I got a question for you, Riggs. Like, seeing some of the shots this guy's taken, so many in such a short period of time, do you think he has to tone it back a little bit, or is it more just actually defending himself in the fight?
Yeah, I think it's. Well, I don't think he needs to tone it back. I think it's to what we're talking about, just defending himself a little bit more. It's just being a little more strategic with the punching and the receiving, right? I mean, it's like
he's
receiving a little bit more. He's absorbing a little more than he should be at this point. But I get it. Like, he's hungry and he's coming in, and really, I'm not sure how much of a game plan he has besides just bringing the heart and the hunger. But I think over time he's gonna be forced to be a little smarter. Maybe get that grip solidified a little earlier, and then maybe play. Again, working on fighting his fight versus getting swallowed up in just the adrenaline of the fight. But yeah, I mean, it's easy to go guns a blazing early on like this, and take some hits and still be fine and shake it off and all that stuff. But it's going to get old if he keeps going at this pace, and he's going to have to do something to be able to sustain himself. So. We will see. I do appreciate his willingness, and I think he'll be naturally forced to. He's gonna eat a few. See what he learned from that Olivier fight, because he definitely. If he didn't get a conky on that one, he was on the spectrum of one because
he looked like you with the Rocky Raccoon there.
When Brash kicked my ass there. Yeah.
No, and I'm not saying that in a bad way.
No,
but
for sure.
He took some. He took a beating that day, but he stood in there. I was very impressed.
Yeah,
by that,
for sure.
Because he took a lot.
He doesn't have a billboard though.
No, not yet. He may. He may by the end of the month, or
he might.
Maybe mid-month. Because we're March here now.
Probably get a free drink anywhere he goes. I'll tell you that. Free dinner.
It's one way to get on the map.
Talk of the town there, boy.